Hey family, welcome back to CathyBizAfrica, the channel where we talk about real African wealth, not just making money, but building systems, businesses, and mindsets that create prosperity for our people, both at home and across the diaspora. If you are in Ghana, anywhere in Africa, or living abroad, and you care about Africa's future, and your own future, this message is for you. Because today we are talking about something that every African, no matter where you live, needs to understand: the difference between assets and liabilities, and how mastering this can completely change our story as a people. Across Ghana, across Africa, and even in the diaspora, Africans are some of the hardest working people on earth. We hustle, we save, we send money home, we carry big dreams, but still many of us struggle financially. Not because we are lazy or cursed, but because of how we think about money. Some of us were not really raised or taught to understand wealth building, and it appears it's about what you have and how you look, not what works for you. We measure success by the car, the house, the clothes, not by cash flow or assets that create independence. How our parents also treat money becomes our foundation in wealth building. I was fortunate enough to appreciate multiple streams of income from my parents, but they did not really sit you down to explain anything to you. You just have to observe. If Africa wants true prosperity, and if the diaspora truly wants to see Africa rise, we must all shift our consuming wealth to building wealth. This is where understanding assets and liabilities becomes powerful. Let's keep it simple. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. But this one idea separates those who build wealth from those who lose it. Let's make it real. You buy a car for Uber or delivery, that's an asset. You buy the same car to show status, that's a liability. You buy land and use it for farming, rentals, or build student housing. That's an asset. You buy land and let it sit idle for 10 years. That's a liability for now. You start a small agro-processing business. That's an asset. You spend that same money on a wedding, a funeral, or an expensive vacation. That's a liability. The truth? The same item can be an asset or a liability. It depends on how you use it. If we want to see Africa prosper, if we want Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda, and all our nations to rise, we must change our mindset about money. Here's how wealth builders think differently. 1. Think long term, not for the moment. We love to celebrate early. The moment we make a little money, we upgrade. New car, new phone, new outfit. Lifestyle inflation, as it's been called. But the wealthy reinvest before they celebrate. They think long term, not for applause. Secondly, don't follow the crowd. The crowd says, enjoy your life now. But real wealth is built by those who can say, let me plant now so I can enjoy later. If you follow the crowd, you end up with their results, and most of the crowd is broke. Number 3, focus on cash flow, not image. A flashy lifestyle doesn't equal wealth. Some people drive expensive cars but can't pay their rent. Some dress rich but have zero investments. Cash flow is king. Income that comes even when you are not working. That's wealth. Number 4, build for generations. Africans must stop thinking in a 1 year or 1-decade terms. We must think generationally. What are you building? That will feed your children and your children's children. That's how dynasties are built. Now to my sisters and brothers in the diaspora, you are a powerful part of this story. Every year, billions of dollars, pounds, euros flow into Africa through remittances. But most of that money is used for consumption, food, rent, ceremonies, not investment. Imagine if even a small portion of that went into income-generating assets, farms, factories, logistics, processing, and local startups. That would change Africa's future. If you live abroad, don't just send money. Build systems. Partner with trustworthy people on the ground. Invest in agriculture, agribusiness, and processing, areas that create jobs and multiply wealth. You can live abroad but still own income streams in Africa. That's how the diaspora becomes not just supporters but builders of Africa's prosperity. Even though our culture is one of our greatest assets, let's be real, some of our cultural habits drain our money and keep us from growing wealth. One is spending big after small wins. We make a little profit and we rush to celebrate. But every cedi, naira, or dollar you spend without multiplying is a missed opportunity. We also like to impress others. Social media pressure is real. We spend on looks and luxury just to feel successful. But you can't post your way to wealth. You must build it. We also like over-celebrating events, weddings, funerals, birthdays. We love to show up big. But we must learn to celebrate wisely. Show love, not liabilities. Another one is building too early. Many Africans rush to build mansions before building multiple streams of income. A house that doesn't earn you anything is not an investment. It's a silent liability. We can't also depend on one income. Having just one job or one business is risky. Wealthy people have multiple streams, from land to stocks, side hustles to online income. That's how wealth is built, by turning what we already have into productive assets. And it doesn't stop there. Across Africa and the diaspora, we need more people who think like this. People who turn their skills, ideas, and resources into wealth-creating systems. Why should Ghana, Africa, and the diaspora embrace this asset mindset? Our continent is rich in people, land, culture, and creativity. But until we start building assets, we'll always depend on others for survival. If every African at home and abroad started investing in assets instead of spending on liabilities, imagine the impact. Jobs will grow, imports will reduce, African brands will rise, and our children will inherit independence, not debt. We don't need more aid. We need more asset builders. And that begins with changing how we think and how we spend. Family, listen. Real wealth is not about what people say. It's about what works for you, quietly, consistently, and generationally. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, will this make me money or take my money? That one question can change your life and our continent. Let's stop chasing the symbols of wealth and start building the systems of wealth. Because Africa will not rise through appearance. It will rise through assets. And to my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, you are part of this story. Let's connect your resources with opportunities back home and build Africa's prosperity together. If this message spoke to you, please share it. Like, comment, and subscribe, because here on CathyBizAfrica, We are not just talking business. We are shaping the future of African wealth, one asset at a time. I am Cathy from CathyBizAfrica, and I'll see you in the next video.